Hi Abhimanyu, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Prashant. How are you?
Yes, perfect. And congrats for the ISB admit. You tried before, so this has come as a very pleasant news. I'm sure you're looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm very happy with that.
Certainly.
I've been trying this
And
for a long time.
right, indeed.
Yeah.
And of course, you come from a non-typical background, which is a family business background. So there are there are certain ideas on mind about the class average GMAT or the average experience. You are relatively younger to the class average. You didn't have any
Yeah.
MNC, the big names on your resume. Your
Yeah.
GMAT score was just about the class average. So tell us more about your profile and what you think worked in your favor.
So basically, I graduated from Manipal Institute of Technology in the year 2016. And
Right,
during my college days, I held few leadership roles. After my graduation, I had a short stint with Vedanta for near about 1 month, and I joined my family business, which is into printing of publicity material for agri-based MNCs. After I joined my family business, I was instrumental in growing my family business by near about 50% revenues have been increased, and we have started a new division of signage as well after my entry. We have
right,
also diversified into new area of quarrying as well. This is a little bit about my profile, and coming into reason what worked in my favor were my cross functional business exposure, my exposure to niche business industries like agri-based industry, printing industry, and granite mining industry, and also my ability to take initiatives and my leaderships and team management skills. All these things played a crucial role in helping me getting an admit to ISB.
right. So in a sense, the fact that you had a family business background allowed you more exposure,
Yeah,
allowed you to create more impact, which you were able to
yes,
present through your application.
yes.
Right. So coming to that, of course, given your family business background, what were the key focus areas in terms of your approach when you actually worked on your essays while building your application overall?
Since my GMAT is on par with class average, and since I don't have any MNCs on my resume thing, I thought of the only area where I could impress admission committee of ISB was through essays. So I thought of working diligently on these essays so that I can pitch myself to the admission committee as a deserving candidate. The key areas I focused while building upon essays were my cross-functional business exposure and exposure to different business industries, and
Right.
my ability to take initiatives and my leadership and people management skills. These are the three areas where I concentrated upon while building my essays.
Right. So a lot about your leadership and the impact you created in your family business.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you also worked with us and you were able to get some mentorship from ISB Mantra on your application. So
Yes.
what kind of inputs you received from ISB Mantra that you think were most helpful to you? How did your approach or perspective got enhanced based on these interactions?
When I first approached ISB Mantra, I wasn't pretty clear on what to put in essays, what are my strengths, and what should I really write in my essays. Um, ISB Mantra, with their consultants, have repeatedly interacted with me. They tried to understand my profile, and They help me in identifying what are my key strengths in my application, and help me in brainstorming my stories on how to highlight these key strengths, and help me in building a essay which is very unique when compared to my competitors who applied for ISB.
Okay, so the key advantage was you
Uh,
being able to
Brainstorming.
identify.
Yeah,
Yeah,
help
so
me
through
in
the brainstorming
identifying my key
sessions.
strengths in the application. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Glad to know that. And how was your experience interviewing with ISB? Because you didn't have a typical corporate background. So, what were the key areas of discussion during the interview? What did they focus on? What do you think they were trying to test primarily?
So I was interviewed by a doctor, a Microsoft product manager, and a finance guy. Since they
Interesting.
don't have prior knowledge about my business, they tried understanding more about my business during the interview.
Hmm.
After that, they tried focusing on what I did in my business, and why I did that, and what are the challenges I faced while doing that, and how I overcome that. Then, since I have mentioned about my leadership skills in the essay, they asked me few questions on my leadership skills as well. Then they focused on my post MBA career goals. They have asked me a
Okay.
couple of questions on that. Uh, they asked me why you got into granite. Printing and granite are completely unrelated industries, right? So why you got into granite? And they asked me, they tried to understand what is the story behind getting into granite. That's all happened in the interview.
Right.
They
So,
tried to understand me more as a person during the interview.
right. So
What I
you
did
as a
in my business,
person, your
what I did in my
motivation,
business. Yeah, yeah,
what do you want to do after your MBA, and of
yes,
course, the different businesses that you are involved in.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's primarily the approach, and that's what they are looking to understand your what you are into, what how you have made a difference, how you being there has impacted your organization. So if you're able to present these things well, and obviously you were able to because you've got an admit,
Yes.
so that is something that should be the key while preparing for the interview. And so again, for your ISB interview preparation, also you went through several mock interviews and counseling session with
Yes.
experts at ISBmantra. So what kind of people you interacted with, and how did the different sessions help you streamline your thoughts?
ISB Mantra interview sessions helped me quite a lot during my interviews. Initially, when I was preparing for my interview, I tried downloading few essential questions for ISB and tried preparing answers for that.
Okay.
In this approach, during my first mock interview, following this approach, I realized that I wasn't able to put all the points what I wanted to say to the interview panel. I had the same discussion with the Prashant during the counseling session. He suggested me to consider interview as a board meeting, and he asked me to come up with a few points. Come prepared with a few points, and he asked me to present stories wherever you can plug in during the interview. That's where you how you can tackle the interview. Also, I had a chance to interact with uh, Kanan sir during one of my counseling session. It helped me quite a lot during my interview. He actually gave me blueprint on what I will be tested, what all areas I will be asked questions upon, and he also told me how I should tackle those questions. That helped me quite a lot. Also, uh, mock interviews were quite closer to the original interview. almost 90% of the questions I faced in the interview, I faced during my mock interview sessions, and it made me quite lot of comfortable during my original interview. Um, Also, these people don't restrict themselves with the um, mock interview. They also give me feedback where I'm doing wrong, how I can
Right.
answer these questions in a better way. That
Beyond the
actually helped
questions
me
that were
quite a lot.
discussed during the interview.
Yeah,
Right. Great, and glad you benefited from it. Glad it worked
yes,
because I'm sure you would have put in a lot of effort behind the
yes.
scenes, behind beyond the sessions you had with us. But
ISB Mantra team also helped me quite a lot in this.
thank you.
They,
And yeah, please go ahead.
their interviews were their mock interviews were quite close to the original interview. I
Right,
think
and of
because of
course,
the admission officials acting as a consultant, that's the reason
right.
why I felt.
And the fact that you coming from a family business background, so there are specific questions
Yeah,
uh, that really needed to be answered, which we tried to focus on.
yes.
Awesome, and glad that you have an admit now. Glad that it all worked out well. How are you spending your time now? Of course, with the coronavirus situation, there is some setback in your planning, and but otherwise, how is your level of interaction? Of course, I'm sure there are some WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups. So how is the level of interaction with other candidates, and how are you mentally preparing to start the year at ISB that is generally supposed to be very demanding?
So after my admit in January, I have been to near about 5 meetups till now.
Hmm.
I met near about some 200 ISB admits as of now.
Wow.
I have been networking with them.
And you have
Uh,
in which city?
I met them in Bangalore as well as Hyderabad.
Okay, very
Both
interesting.
I'm traveling for these meetups.
Wow. So these
Yeah,
meetups look really
these
worth it.
people are quite brilliant also. I came to know that they have very interesting profiles, and uh, these 2 weeks, I mean, in last week of March, I planned to go abroad for a trip, but it
Okay.
did not really happen because of this coronavirus.
Right. So the personal
I'm
trip that you
completely locked down
planned,
in here. Yeah, yeah, I'm completely locked down at home now.
that's unfortunate. But of course, hope the our time at ISB gives you
Yeah,
some break to travel, if not abroad, or probably there are exchange programs that can be worth
yeah,
exploring as well.
yeah, hoping so.
Awesome. And of course, these were some very useful insights for applicants, of course, learning from your experience. But before we wrap up, what's your advice to future applicants, especially those coming from a family business background?
ISB doesn't really care about where you come from. What they are really interested in is what you did in your work. Um, so my advice to family business applicants is just believe in what you did at your work and try to highlight what all achievements you have achieved in your family business and just put them in your application confidently.
Right. So what you're saying is, of course, not having MNC experience is not a
Doesn't really
hurdle if
matter.
you have,
Yeah.
right,
What
if
you
you
do
have,
is most important at work.
right. So when you come from family business, if you have created good impact, if you have done good things at work, it can work to your advantage
Yeah.
rather coming at as a
Rather than
disadvantage.
business. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome, great. These were some very useful insights, Abhimanyu. Thank you so much for taking out time. Hope you have a great time and awesome learning experience at ISB. Of course, the moment the coronavirus situation gets sorted. But very soon, I think you'll be starting with your classes. So
Yes.
all the best and have a
Thank
good
you.
time.
Thank you so much, Prashant.